Mencken predicted that eventually we'd actually elect the dumbest guy in America. Are we going to someday elect a satirical president?
So this is an interview that George Carlin did in 2008 on MSNBC. And some of the stuff that he says here is, like, goddamn, pretty prescient, I would say. But at the same time, are you really surprised?
Thank you. This is the best news show ever. I told that to one of your producers, and I want you to know that. I've seen them all, and it's just, especially the first 35 minutes.
Thank you, sir.
It's just unparalleled.
I got bad news. Between you and I, we got 6 minutes to completely screw that into the ground.
Okay,
right?
That's good.
Dumbledore,
yes.
Jerry Falwell,
yeah.
Tinky Winky. I'm missing
weird
something.
Start,
Why gay, non-existent characters are so important.
Don't these professional Christians have something to do during the day? I mean, didn't Jesus leave instructions how to plan your day, something constructive? Didn't he kind of help people? Didn't he, look out for the afflicted, to use half of A.J. Liebling's quote, to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable to complete it? It just seems that they get off on these tangents, you know. And of course the homosexuality and the reading of science fiction such as the Bible, and giving it the
I love the idea of calling it science fiction.
Of truth. I mean, it would be cartoonish if it weren't, dangerous.
Oh, the wizards are here.
People to establish theocracies and go to war.
Hello,
and
wizards.
all the rest of that.
Yeah, and instilling guilt and shame and fear in people.
There's a Republican poll out that says that Stephen Colbert is 5th among Democrats. They surveyed 1,000 people who
they would want to vote for,
or whatever the polling was. But is there a period of time? Have we gotten there? Because Mencken predicted that eventually we'd actually elect the dumbest guy in America. Are we going to someday elect a satirical president, a guy who really has no intention of having he's doing it as a sales tool for something else?
Well, we're working on it. I mean, we did elect something of that nature in 2000 and 2004, if you want to look at it from a long distance. If you're up close, it may not be that. I was around in 1960 when Professor Irwin Corey ran for president. And I was around in 1968 when Pat Paulson ran for president. And I think Larry Flynt had a go at it there.
That was the really the part that I wanted to show you, but the rest of this is still excellent. So.
For what? It's it's why is he the 5th among Democrats? Doesn't he play a Republican on television?
Yeah, apparently he comes in 10th or 11th down there with Tom Tancredo. He's only got like 1% of the Republican.
This was back when the timeline hadn't rapidly spiraled into where we are now, but we were always headed in this direction, and if you were paying attention back then, you could still see we were heading directly in this direction. It's just the idea of the collision course with the iceberg was so clear for so long. Carlin would be rolling in his grave if he saw this shit. Yeah. Twice, even. Not just once, twice.
Robin Ray once posited was the best way to try to get elected, run for both the Democratic and Republican nominations. You have 2 chances.
He's just a wonderful comic relief, and I hope he goes far, and I hope he can get a couple of primary states under his belt.
We really upset this thing. The reverse of Colbert, I want to...
Well, he meant Bush when he said we've done something akin to this in 2000 and 2004. But yeah, Bush was not the dumbest man in America. He just looked it, and that's what he said as well. It's less so the people who have been in power. It's more so where the culture of the society has moved to, and the things that we value in people as a society have changed. I mean, honesty has been out the window for a while now.
Play you this
we made
clip.
It legal
it's
for them
Senator
to lie.
Alan Specter and a story that he says his colleagues.
Also, remember when MSNBC was good enough that an MSNBC host could get George Carlin's praise, which I feel like would require a pretty fucking high bar.
Used to tell. Play this thing.
Dan's mother and I have sex almost every night. We almost have sex on Monday. We almost have sex on Tuesday.
It was as odd as it is to see a Republican senator, even a fairly liberal one from Pennsylvania, standing there.
I mean, that is the most Republican thing I've ever heard. But and now they're making it illegal to tell them that they're lying, at least on social media. No more fact checking, so at least banned. Yeah, don't worry, we'll get to the illegal part soon.
The improv.
Yes.
Is there something positive about this? Because, you know, if Nelson Rockefeller had made that joke 40 years ago, not only would he have been out of the presidential race, he would have had to resign as governor of New York. Just anything that touchy. Is it better that we're letting these guys get up and have fun?
I liked Rockefeller because he gave the finger to the Republican convention, the conservatives in 1964, and then he died in the saddle, which I thought was a nice thing for the Republic. Of course, he had his screw you money off and put away a long time before.
Yeah.
I think that's a great joke that Spector told. I was waiting for Phil Spector.
I think so.
Leftist
Leo, I do think so.
Okay for me.
Yeah, well, Phil is no longer involved in the government. Well, not directly, anyway.
No.
Now he's being pursued by the government.
Right.
I mentioned Bob and Ray. Those were my heroes when I was a kid. At the height of Watergate, I got to interview them, and I said, you know, why don't you do, because they'd gone after McCarthy in a limited way, but a very effective way. So why didn't you do more political humor? And Ray Goulding said, how could we make that funnier? Yeah. Do you feel that way about President Bush?
Well, I use the sledgehammer. I don't bother with the rapier
on
Bush.
It started now. That's just J.D. Vance gets to go first. We have about 20 minutes until it's supposed to be Trump's turn. And have fun suffering. I mean, I know you think that things are going to get good. I don't believe that they are. Not unless you already are making more than $1 million a year.
A lot of political humor, but I have some grants and blows in the current show that I'm developing, and one of them is the reference to him as Governor Bush and the fact that I will always think of him, no matter where they hang his portrait, no matter where they put his statue. That's what he is. He's Governor Bush because that's the last elected office he held legally in this country. So I like moving in.
That is a good one.
Them.
Yeah.
I don't like this let's be cute and let's be clever. I like smashing them. That's the only way to take care of them.
The other day, and speaking of smashing things, I quoted in this newscast, first item in the newscast, the 7 words you can't say on television, the story of them, and the fact that everybody forgets that the first part of that story is the guy who had his phone tapped and would answer the phone, bleep Hoover.
Yeah.
We're back there. How did we get back to the same position that we were when you made that joke originally in the 70s?
We never left.
You're talking about wiretapping and spying on people. Yeah. Well, I don't know that we ever really left. I don't think that Frank Church committee really did any good. I don't think.
No, I'm not a doomer at all.
I think power does what it wants.
I think that most of us will be fine. I just think that a lot of people are going to suffer, including a lot of people who don't deserve to suffer. And then I think afterward we'll have a chance to pick up the pieces. Life goes on, humanity goes on. A lot of people are about to die though. Yeah.
Its power does what it wants, and now they're just more naked about it. Now
like
they
a
just
lot
put
of
it
them
right out front and say, "This is."
They're doing deportation. They're doing deportation, quote unquote, raids starting tomorrow, probably today, honestly, in almost every major city that's a sanctuary city in the U.S. Like all trans people's healthcare protections, working rights protections, all that gone today, instantly. That's the first bill that he's going to executive order. Everyone is going to suffer except the billionaire club.
This is what we're doing to you folks. It's, this country's finished. It's been sliding down.
Oh, of course not, headless chicken.
And everybody's got a cell phone that makes pancakes.
Except, illegal aliens are not the actual target. Yeah, see, that's what they tell you, and you're dumb enough to believe them.
To rock the boat. They don't want to make any trouble. People have been
they tell you a lot of things that you should believe, but that's what they tell you, and you believe it without adding any context or doing any deeper thinking on the subject. It's not just illegals, especially considering let's say if you are illegal but your wife and your kid are not, they all go with you too. Ta-da, sorry. That's what the guy in charge said. That's what Trump has said. That's what Tom Homan has said. So what about the innocent family members of the illegal, for example? What about the fact that illegal now could just mean a parking ticket. They've passed the Lake and Riley Act, or rather they will today officially fully pass it. And cages again? Well, I mean, they're labor camps. That's not the goal here. Isn't to deport these people.